Much better. Hell, bonus episode for Doom: The Dark Ages. I don't know why I had that weird pause there. So, when you last saw me, which was literally yesterday, I I kicked someone's ass. Yeah. Um, we defeated Azric permanently. Yeah, I had to use his own words. So, with that said, one of the things that you may notice is a lot quieter. I cannot believe I went through this entire playthrough not realizing that the game's volume was louder than me. So as such, I have lowered the volume to a respectable 55% so that we can hear me and the game. So, you're probably wondering, okay, so what are we going to talk about? Well, for starters, I want to talk about some of the cool things that I found out about this. Reading up on it, finding all the cool little tidbits and everything, and, everything else. For starters, this song that we're listening to right here, When the Shadows First Lengthened, is literally named after a quote from the Slayer's Testaments that you hear in Doom 2016. You know, in the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthen. There you go. Wow, right on cue! Just give me a sec, I'm gonna send this link to a friend. Alright, so, with that, how about I go into some more awesome stuff in terms of the soundtrack. But first, I want to show something off that I didn't talk about before, namely the different weapon skins, first of all. So, as you can see, you have all these weapons here, except for the BFC. That is the only weapon that doesn't have any weapon skins, and I'm more than okay with that. Now, you're also probably thinking, why not your melee weapons? I don't know, but honestly, they look better without the skins anyway. But, in case you're wondering about the different weapon skins you can get, the default is, well, what you start off with. This is something that, well, everyone should know. If you don't, then, what, do you think default is the name of a skin? Anyway, I'm sorry about that. Then we have Reverent. This is from doing the masteries for the weapons. Wait, no. I got that wrong. It's from doing challenges and levels. I'm sorry. Conqueror is what you get for doing the masteries. Nightmare is a skin that you find throughout levels that you go through. And so, I think, to literally everything in the game, I'm going to switch all the weapons to Conqueror, just to signify our... So, thank you, PlayStation app, for notifying me that a new game is out. I'm sure you can guess which one. I might play it, depending on if I have time. So, yeah, you have these different skins. You saw a glimpse of this whenever I was doing the first episode of the Let's Play, because I didn't realize that this stuff carried across all of your saves. But, yeah. So, then we have the Slayer skins. I have 7 of them, but there are 2 more. The default one is your tried and true green and silver. You got QuakeCon 25. You can no longer get this. You had to log in during QuakeCon this year. Nightmare. I forgot what the prerequisite. Did I suddenly turn into a fucking toddler or something? The prerequisite of this, I believe, was, I think it was from doing something? I forgot what it was. Perfection. This is from completing all of the Ripitorium levels. Or, yeah, I think it was completing I think it was either completing 1 or all of them. Void. This was a pre-order bonus. Yeah, no joke. This was a pre-order bonus. And now we have Butcher. This, I believe, was from... Oh, right, now I remember. So, Butcher was from signing your account in with Bethesda. Then we have this, Divinity. This is if you get the premium edition of the game, which I am playing. However, for our Atlan and Dragon skins, we just have the 2. Now, let's get into milestones. Start a campaign with at least 1 custom difficulty setting modified and complete Village of Kalima. I have no idea why the hell this isn't filled up, but yeah. Would it be as simple as... Let's see if maybe that'll work. Let's just skip this real quick. As you can see, you start off with whatever weapons you were using previously in another level, so it's all good. Let's just go ahead and go through this. It's also important to note that the game doesn't lock your previously retrieved items to, oh, well, since this is the first level, you just use the basic shield. No, you have all of your upgrades and everything, and that's good. So, you know, the extending edge and everything, that's good. Anyway, yeah, I would like to thank my friend Fluxy, who I play with on VR chat every single night, for telling me about how loud the game was, because I had no idea any of that was happening. There we go. I don't know why it fucking sucked there. Anyway. Yeah. So this song is known as Unchained Predator, which is one of the names that the Slayer was given when his legend was starting to start. A lot of people have a bit humorously said that, oh wait, they named this song after Dr. Disrespect, which is a bit funny if you think about it. But yeah, it's more so just a reference to the Slayer and one of the many monikers he's gotten.
Confirmed. Weapon drop incoming in 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for the empty casket. Already got a gauntlet. Yeah, so everything that you've collected in the campaign will still be there. Another thing is that any collectibles that you already collected in the level will not reappear. Resources in this game are finite. So you got the gold, you got all that stuff. So you don't have to recollect that stuff at all, which is good. I think that was the same way with the Doom 2016 Eternal. So I hope that this clears out that challenge, because I would rather not start another campaign just to get them. Because I did vow that I was going to get everything I could. Hopefully this counts, even though I didn't even know that this is one of the things that I didn't get. And it doesn't even do anything at all, it's just for brownie points. Anyway, I'll be talking about the other songs too. It's just this song is the same song that you heard in the reveal trailer last year. So just bear that in mind. This is the same song that you heard like way back then. Not way back then, it was a year ago. Yeah. Another thing, you may notice that when you hear the Imp Stalker take damage, you'll hear some very familiar sounds. In fact, the cutscene that you would have seen in this game, like when you first start this level, you may have heard the like it's that distinct scream that you hear from like stock sounds.
The main gate is under lockdown.
I'd like to think of
There's
that.
a key in the nearby church.
Actually, no. I'm not thinking of it as. It is literally another callback to the original Doom games, which had stock sounds that they had from Sound Library. So, oh hi. Yeah, right there, right there. That is the sound the Archvile makes when it dies in Doom 2. Yeah, that Archvile. You know, the pain in the ass that we had to deal with back in '94, which was 3 years before I was born. Anyway! Oh no, I seem to have fallen. Whatever shall I do? Oh, there we go. That's what I shall do. I shall have a terrible voice crack. Yeah, I find it funny how the Archvile sounds are used for the imps, but it's not even for their death. It's just whenever they get hurt. They're just like, why? Which, yeah, fun fact, did you know that the Archvile's death sound is a girl that was recorded by the staff saying why. I think it was one of the developers' kids or something, or a relative. But they had her say why, and then Bobby Prince, who was one of the audio people at the time at id Software back in the 90s, he edited that sound to, you know, yeah. Not Virginia, am I?
He's at ground zero. He located.
Felt bad for that guy. I think his name was Ben. His name was Ben Dover. I'll shut up. Anyway. Yeah, so... It's just me, or do those portals look a lot like Oblivion?
The portals will collapse.
Which, yes, I heard about the physical release coming out soon. I plan on playing that as my first Elder Scrolls game to do a Let's Play. Yeah, so I'm just gonna play through this, see if it does do anything. If not, then I'll just go back to what I was talking about. But yeah, so I believe this is the only level in the game that okay, so in the Cosmic Realm it had two different songs. It had Cosmic Sea for the later two levels. I forgot what the other song was for the first two Cosmic Realm levels, but close that out. Oh, right. But there's other levels that have that as well, where they'll have one song that's meant for, like, the more ambient sound, and then for combat, it's another song, which for the Cosmic Realm, across all four levels, it is Into the Void. You know, the dun, 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 dun. We already got the Impaler. No, not Impaler. Shredder. It's Shredder! Where? If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you get bonus points. Bonus episode, no less. Oh, right. So that sparkly stuff that I just picked up. Yeah, you'll notice the shield isn't glowing. Yeah. So that is because of the fact that that is energy that you have to collect from enemies in order to get it. That is not how you get it. There we go! Let me see if I can... Fell down. Ow! Oh, you asshole. You asked for it. I was trying to show that sparkly stuff on the ground, like the lightning thing. I'm so glad that doesn't actually hurt you. I was trying to show, a bit foolishly, that is energy that you collect. there we
All
go.
hell gates closed. The village is secure.
Let's go! Oh no. I hear roaring. I wonder
Tier
what it
5 readings
is.
in the South Bay. Incoming.
A Titan has been summoned.
We have to move!
I'll switch over to the second. Generator. Yeah, with our new... I need to finish this real quick, just to make sure I'm not going crazy with that one challenge. Because I just want to see if that is possible. Because that was one of the things was the, it was just a few zombies I had to fight. Okay.
We need backup! Someone get on that turret!
Yes, sir! Also wanted to show off you can't go in there.
They're making a
Let's
final
go.
push.
Step aside, dead man. Yeah. Alright. Sorry about that,
Titan
folks.
advancing.
This guy off. I don't need to worry about those zombie guys because they don't do much damage. And let her in.
Titan down. All remaining enemy targets have been neutralized.
There we go. I don't think that did anything. Did it? Oh, it did. Okay. I wasn't sure if I had to start a new campaign, but no, it's just something else I had to change. So I could just change it back, which, you know, I'm gonna leave the tutorials on just because of the fact that, I mean, I read through the tutorials whenever, you know, we got a new gun or something. But, yeah, so I already talked about this song, which is when the shadows first lengthen, you have Unchained Predator, then you have Hidbeth here. Let me consult my handy dandy friend, the doomwiki.org, which is how I always get my info. Oh, right. So, you're gonna think this is kind of funny. Ironically enough, even though this level here is an on-foot mission, it uses the same song as this, which is where you actually use the Atlan. So, in ambient, you know, exploration, you know, just exploring the level, it uses Hidbeth as ambience. However, in combat, it uses this level's music. Now, what if I were to tell you, like I said before, Hidbeth here is, yeah, Mars. I'm not even joking. So, in the lore of the Doom series, Hidbeth was the original name of the planet before it became Mars. And it was originally founded by a group of sentinels that created the city there. This is why Samuel Hayden is talking about a lost city of Hidbeth, which is deep below the surface of Mars in Doom Eternal, is because at one point the entire planet was known as Hidbeth, which is also why, you know, this is a thing. Planet of Hidbeth. Go ahead and exit out of the level here because I just want to show off that little bit of text. In case people were ever curious about, wait, I thought it was a lost city of Hidbeth, not a planet of Hidbeth. That therefore explains what it is. Barrier Core is, well, our first Atlan level, so yeah. Oh, never mind. It uses Hidbeth as ambience in Atlan Battleground as combat. I thought it was like just for this level. But no, now it's starting to make sense. Sentinel Barracks is where we first hear Blood Red as combat. Okay. Oh, right. So, I, okay. So, Okay, so Sentinel Barracks is home to a very funny Easter egg that hopefully I'll be able to show off. Yeah, I should be able to. Skip this. Because it is a very funny Easter egg that not many people knew
Demons
the
in the
name
north
of.
wing.
Because if you don't know, there is a skeleton with a blue cape that you would only find in one secret, like, not a secret area, it's one of the areas that you progress through naturally throughout the level. Just go ahead and leap on over here.
Valen, with the
Hey,
Slayer
fellas.
guarding the barracks, we'll take the airships. Rally at the priest signal.
You guys stay safe, I'm gonna kick some ass. Have fun. I like I'm just casually talking to these people while they're trying to defend their home. These guys aren't even fazed by me. Yeah, something I was gonna show off is that in some levels where there are like normal civilians, they'll actually back away from the Slayer because of how terrifying it is. I believe this is best shown in the first level. Also, I thought that was a guy for a second. It's just a set of armor. Just shot that innocent face. Bam! Have an electrifying personality. Anyway. Oh, right, so that's another detail. On the accelerator, as you fire more and more, I think that's with the mastery, you'll actually see the size of the barrels heat up. That's actually a really
I'm
cool
on
detail.
board. I'll establish contact when we reach Eratum.
Commander Thera, the demonic presence around the priest signal is getting larger.
Yeah, it's not over there. I believe it's in here, if I'm not mistaken? I don't know. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Also, if you heard someone talking earlier, it's just my father, because something weird's going on with my doorknob. So, I swear to you, I have never been forceful with my doorknob. I'm not, like, yanking on it. It's just some weird thing, might be from age, I don't know. Let's see if I'm able to find him. Because I don't know if they patched him out or what. No, over here. But he's in this area, so I know I'm not crazy. That was not the place to go. Oh, here it is, here it is, here it is. I kid you not. nobody knew what this skeleton was or what his name was. I'm gonna settle the score right here. In the game's files, which you can only see on PC, his official name is Austin. Another thing, there's a painting of an Atlan mech in this level, which was made by a fan. Of course, they were credited, which is good. But I love how Doom has that sense of community that even the developers have openly embraced. That is sick. That is really good. Anyway, yeah, so the song playing here is Blood Red, and it plays in this level and the next level. Just wanted to talk about that. I don't know why I was playing through it. I guess I just wanted to. Anyway. Siege Part 1 and Part 2. Unholy Siege. AKA... What? Probably one of the most badass things a man of few words has ever said. Abyssal Forest. And I believe the next level after this is, Huh. It doesn't show the song. Okay. So, wait a minute, what am I doing? There's a jukebox in this game. So, Unchained Predator plays in Level 1. Atlan Combat, or Atlan Battleground, is the combat music for Hibeth and the next level after that. Blood Red is the song that plays throughout both the Sentinel Barracks and the Holy City of Eretune. Unholy Siege, plays in the siege levels. Pursuit of Yes, that's what it is. Pursuit of Demons. That is the combat music for the Abyssal Forest and the Ancestral Forge. Infernal Chasm is the song that plays throughout the Hell levels in the game. Hellspawn Rift plays throughout the Command Station and From Beyond. Ancestral Beast plays throughout the Spire of Mirathul. Into the Void is the combat music that you would hear within the Cosmic Line. What Lies Below is the ambient music for two of the levels. Battle of the Blackened Tide, which I keep missaying as Battle on the Blackened Tide. That is the music that you hear throughout the Harbor of Souls. Steel Beyond the Grave plays on the level Resurrection. Colossus Unleashed. This is the song that plays in the final Atlan level, which is Final Battle. Between Hex and Flame. That is the song that plays during the final boss fight between the Witch and Prince Asric, like when you're fighting both. Apotheosis. This is the song that plays when you're fighting against Asric alone. And I guess on that note, let's get into the Repertorium. And have a bad voice crack while we're at it. So, yeah, the Repertorium is a returning feature from Eternal, where, you can have your own custom experience this time around for the enemies that you want to fight, all the way to, yeah, and you'll also get to see the different classes of enemies here. They're probably thinking, wait, the different classes? Yeah, so we have fodder enemies, which are the zombies here in the two variants of imps. Heavy, which is a step up. So previously in the Doom series, there was fodder, medium, and heavy demons, which, depending on your target, would require more and more fuel capacity for the chainsaw. I believe that was a carryover to Doom Eternal with the chainsaw, because it carries up to 3 pips. Anyway, Imp Stalkers starts off the heavy. Then we have the Nightmare Imp Stalker, which you can see unshadowed. Hell Knight, Battle Knight, all this other stuff. But the good thing is, you don't have to worry about maxing out the thing before starting the fight. You can just start. You can choose from these 4 difficulties, and I think I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna keep this on Nightmare, but I'm gonna have it to where it's pretty much, you know, Nightmare, but I'm too young to die. And that's just so that way I can at least tell you, hey guys, I played on Nightmare. But yeah, so I love this feature in Doom the Dark Ages where you can just tune your experience to however long you want. Anyway, let's do this. So, yeah, we're only going to play through one of the Repertorium levels just to show what it's like, but it is essentially the same thing from the original Repertorium from Doom 2016. Yeah, you can tune it up however you like. You don't have to worry about, you know, boss fights or anything like that. You have the super heavy demons that you could choose from, such as the Mancubus and all that other stuff. I think that might be like regular heavy, I don't remember. But yeah, you do have a time limit, which is good. You have a default of 5 minutes. Pretty cool. Where's the last one? Oh, there it is. That is not the last one. Where's the last enemy? Yeah, I like how it was playing the ambient version of Blood Red, and then it just goes in Infernal Cavern. In the most unfitting location. Very, very odd. Oh, hi. You're dead. Oh, and now the shield glows. Okay. But yeah, so I have to say this is probably one of the coolest features that they've ever added in this game, aside from obviously the difficulty settings and how you can do like different things. Anyway, I guess getting back to it. Need help? For real? Why would they do that? That's stupid. Oh. I would say that's kind of understandable, but it's really not. Like, you would think they would give them enough, right? Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully he didn't script that. Oh. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully you'll be able to reach the top ones up there. Oh. That way it's not so screwed up. Oh crap, I should probably go ahead and start the oven for that. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, so across all of these levels, Cosmic Sea is the song that plays for the Cosmic Realm. I think. Oh. Yeah, so City of Ryul, which is the first Cosmic level location, uses Cosmic Sea as its ambience, and it also uses that same song for light combat, but for heavy combat, it's Into the Void. For the next level, which is the Carthul Marches, it uses the same music. Then we have Temple of Lumarith. And this is where it gets a little interesting, because it still uses Cosmic Sea for its... I didn't select that. Anyway, it uses Cosmic Sea for its, ambient and light combat. But what makes it different from the last two levels here is that it uses What Lies Below as combat music. Then we have Belly of the Beast. Yeah, it uses that same music. So think of it sort of like these are two-parter levels, but they're separated into two different levels. Then you have Temple of Lumarith, which transitions to Belly of the Beast, and as you saw in the Belly of the Beast, it had that same little area that you ended Temple of Limerith with. So think of it sort of like this is the part two to that level. Harbor of Souls is oh, right. So right. Sorry, I got distracted. The ambient song is Sentinel Barracks, but the combat music is the Battle of the Blackened Tide. I always thought it was like that the song had a quieter part for like the exploration and light combat, like some of the other levels, but no, it's that Battle of the Blackened Tide is for combat. But it makes sense. But I find it weird how the ambient song is Sentinel Barracks when this isn't the Sentinel Barracks. This is a location in hell. Then we have Resurrection, which I don't know what song that Resurrection uses, but yeah. Oh wait, no, now I remember. It was what was it again? Yes, thank you for the score again. Steel Beyond the Grave, that's it. Yeah. Then we have Final Battle, which, as I stated before, uses Colossus Unleashed, which is one of my favorite songs in this entire game. I can't think of a single bad song in this entire soundtrack. They're all, like, perfect. Like, I cannot think of a single complaint. And, Yeah, as for this, for Reckoning, it uses, of course, Infernal Chasm as its level music, but in combat it amps up. So it's one of those songs that amps up whenever there's combat. For the boss fight, though, there is two songs that play. There are. I don't know why I said there are when I just said there were two songs that play during the final boss. The first final boss theme is Between Hex and Flame, which is in reference to how the Cosmic Realm uses, like, weird cosmic magic. So it's sort of like she's using Hex, like magic. And then we have the song that goes after that whenever you're facing off against Azrak alone, which is Hypothesis. Now, let's get into some more unique topics. I'm going to go to Hephaestus for this because I just think it's a pretty awesome set piece. Also, I deeply apologize for the sound that you guys heard for like the past 20 minutes, probably. It's just that I was checking on the door. Anyway, just skip this. So, the combat shotgun. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the weapons in this game. The combat shotgun, if you can believe me, is the same one that it's the same one that you use in Doom 64. It is stated to be the same shotgun that the Slayer had alongside him whenever he first arrived in the Sentinel world. But they had to modify it so that way he could use it better. So, that's why if you were to look at the weapon, it has that same sort of like loop that goes behind the trigger, kind of like a lever action weapon. Then we have the Super Shotgun. This is quite possibly the coolest hybrid weapon I've ever seen. It's a flintlock, it's a lever action, it's a shotgun. It fires both. Then we have the Shredder and the Impaler. The Shredder, believe it or not, may or may not be a nod to the nail gun weapons from the Quake series. Don't believe me? Think about the projectile it shoots. It shoots a very similar kind of projectile, with it being a spike. The Impaler is essentially the same thing, only with a more precision-style format, where you shoot slowly, but it's meant to be precise. Then we have the Accelerator, which is meant to be an SMG-style weapon having a very high rate of fire, but very low accuracy at range. When you're up close, however, its range becomes its accuracy becomes a little bit better, but that's only because of the fact that it's more meant for confined spaces. However, depending on whichever upgrade that you have set up for the weapon, you can either have a higher firing rate or a lessened spread. The Cycler is a reference to the nail gun from the original Quake, except with plasma being used as ammo and not nails. And it also has a very... yeah, the sound kind of sounds a little similar to the plasma rifle from Doom 2016, the Tone. Then we have the two Skull Crusher weapons. If you've ever wondered what this is a reference to, I don't know. All I know is the weapon itself is meant to be the chain gun type of weapon where it has a high rate of fire, it's more for crowd control, With this one, it has a widened spread. For this one, however, it ramps up over time, as you can see here. Then we have the chain shot. This is essentially a melee weapon in gun form. You know, that's all well and good, right? We have all these really fancy weapons and all that stuff. But what's the outlier? What is the one weapon that makes this so different from all the others? The BFC is the only weapon with a pretty awesome amount of lore about it. So, it might look a little familiar, especially for people who are familiar with the Heretic and Hexen games, or I think it's just Heretic. This weapon is a reference to the ethereal crossbow weapon that you would use in that game. You can also see a similar weapon in the game Dusk that came out back in 2018. It has since come out on other platforms such as Xbox, which is coming out pretty soon. It's out on PlayStation, it's out on Switch, and obviously it came out first on PC. The BFC, however, isn't the same kind of weapon. Instead, this is the game's equivalent of the BFG 9000, which, as everyone knows, is the big freaking gun. That is a reference to Quake 2, by the way, the big freaking gun. I don't want to actually say the name of it because I'm not going to get in trouble with YouTube. It's just I don't want someone to snap at me saying, "Hey, why'd you say that?" So you're probably wondering, oh great, what's he going to talk about? So this weapon, you might think, well, obviously it's the equivalent of the BFG, but is it better than the previous iterations of the BFG? Yes, and I'll explain why. As I've stated numerous times before with the numerous other ASCII launcher category, you got the shotgun and super shotgun carrying the shotgun brand. I don't know why I said brand. You have the Shredder and the Impaler being essentially the heavy assault rifle / cannon variants, just in nail gun form. The Cycler and Accelerator are the plasma rifles. You know, complete with this one having a very similar accordion-style barrel system that you can see right here. The Ravager, as I said before, is the roll of the chain gun. You know, high RPM, crowd control, works really good against bigger enemies because of the fact that there's a lot of projectiles shooting out. The chain shot is one of the only outliers here, as it's meant to be pretty much the replacement of the Sentinel Hammer, or I think it's called the Hellbreaker, if I'm not mistaken, because it has a very similar effect of dazing enemies with a charged shot. But what about the BFC? As if this game's love letter to the original Doom games couldn't get any better than this, this game doesn't have the same effect as Doom 2016 and Eternal, where it's a giant ball of plasma that travels across the arena, zapping enemies that it comes across. Instead, it's similar to the original BFG. How do I know this? Watch. Actually, let's... I wanted to use that for like a better opportunity, but I was trying to show that the weapon is similar to the BFG 9000 from the original series, in that instead of it having tendrils that shoot out as it's traveling, it's similar to that weapon in that anything caught in the blast radius will be damaged, and it can also chain attack enemies because of that. Anyway, see there's a lot of people watching. Hello. Yeah, you can see the giant blast right there, which is a reference to the original BFG having a huge blast radius and zapping anything that it comes across when it blows up. So the previous two Doom games before this, the BFG worked similarly to the BFG 10,000 from Quake 2. Quake 3, because the Quake 3 was just a rapid fire weapon. You know, anyway. Alright, we gotta... Alright, sorry about that. Guess while we're on the subject... Yeah, what I was trying to show off is that it trades off the shocking tendrils for a more hit-scanny kind of attack. Now, I want to talk about a few glitches. Namely, I'll show them off with the village of Kalim real quick. Just...
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Let's see if I can get the timing right on this. Trying to show off that there is a way to mantle teleport with this, but I guess I can't get it. I've already shown off some other glitches, like in I think it was the Reckoning level, where you could, you know, somehow get those enemy energy shields to just stay there, which isn't supposed to happen. There are some other things, of course. For example, the collectible U, or not U, where you can see the toy version and the regular image. So we have the Imp Stalker, which I find it weird how the Imp toy has greenish skin, and this is more, zombie-esque. You have the Hell Knight, which is a very identical appearance to its Eternal design, only, that. Surratt. There's our darling boy. Rest in peace. So, Surratt, as I talked about in the episode where he first appeared, his name is a reference to the family of flowers that also has the name Daisy. Don't believe me? Well, let me look it up. It says here in the Doom Wiki, the name Surratt comes from the flower named Ceratula. Ceratula's family is Aceracea, also commonly known as Daisy. In other words, this dragon is literally Daisy, but a dude. And you have Slayer. Look at him in all his awesome glory. Look at that fur cape flowing around. The Mancubus looks very similar to its Doom 3, not Doom 3. I mean, it was in that game, but it looked nothing like this. This looks more like its Doom 2 counterpart, except for the fact that the Doom 2 counterpart didn't have that big ol' fuel tank on its back, which, as you can see, is where those hoses are hooked up to. Is a part of his body. Vagary. Yeah. Doesn't look nearly as creepy as the one from Doom 3, but it's still somewhat of an arachnid. Yeah, so Cyber Demon looks very similar to its original counterpart to an extent. Only, yes, he has a butt. Yeah, so the Tyrant from Doom Eternal is essentially what this guy is, but, the way he spun around. Mr. Marshmallow in a chair. Yeah, so we got the Arachnotron here, which doesn't have a plasma weapon, but it does have a gun. But you can see that even though it's called an Arachnotron, there's very... I don't know why I slurred my speech there. There's very little cybernetics going on, aside from, you know, obviously the cybernetic augmentation to have the gun, but that's about it. Revenant. It's Skeletor meets Grim Reaper. In fact, that is literally what the Revenant is a reference to here, is the Grim Reaper. Although, with a face like that, it looks more like a Skeletor with shoulder canes and a sickle. Agadon Hunter. Make a better Marauder than the Marauder. What do you have to say about that? Anyway, we have the Battle Knight, Cacodemon Hybrid, Cosmic Baron. But we're not going to go through all these, I just wanted to talk a bit about this. But yeah, so you can see here, that's not a skeleton, that's a zombie. Like, look how metal that looks. It looks like something straight out of a metal album cover. Then we have the, I almost said the Raid, the Witch, right here. You might not know this, but her name is Ulsamira. That is her official name. Yeah, so we have two different Azurics. We have this one, and then we have the other Azurik, which was the, Are they seriously not happening? Anyway. But, yeah. There could be more stuff that I'd like to talk about, but I think I've covered pretty much everything there is to talk about. Except one. And that would be the fact that this game's field of combat is inspired by 300. Hugo Martin's already said it before, but it's more similar to the way that Leonidas uses his shield in combat in that movie. So essentially, think of it sort of like medieval Doom, but it's the best kind. But I think with that, I'm about ready to say something I should have said a long time ago. This game, I cannot sing enough praises. The difficulty is just right. It's got quite a lot of challenge. The levels are all really, really pretty to look at. They're fun to play through. The enemies offer a great degree of challenge, from like the simple enemies that you can just melee attack or shoot, or use your shield to chop them up and get armor and stuff, to the bigger and badder demons that will really test your mettle. You've got an amazing soundtrack that literally sounds medieval just as it does sound metal. And when you pair that with the fact that right now it's on sale, yeah, that's right. There's an autumn sale going on right now on Steam, so you can get this game either by itself or the premium edition for a reduced cost. I believe it's 25% off for both copies, but I highly recommend this game. I cannot sing my praises enough, which leads me to my review. I should have done this whenever I, was watching the credits, but I think now is a better time than any to finally give my thoughts. For the music, I have to give this one a 10 out of 10. It kept me on the edge of my seat with how awesome the music was. You had the quieter songs for when you're just exploring, or the heavy metal combat that makes you feel like you're really in control of a mighty tank. Speaking of the gameplay, when Hugo Martin said that you're an iron tank in this game, as opposed to an F1 car in 2016 and a fighter jet in Eternal, he really meant it. You're not slow, but you're not weak. You have a lot at your disposal. You have a shield, you have melee weapons that you could use to get more resources out of enemies. You have guns that are just so out of this world crazy. You have an amazing story that, well, some people might say, oh, well, it's kind of cheesy. It's just, you know, your run-of-the-mill Doomslayer saving people kind of thing. I loved this story. Like, when I first played through this, sorry about that. I had a burp coming up, that's why I messed up. When I first played through this game, like, way back when I first got it, it blew me away without stopping. And that extends to the replayability and enjoyability of it. The fact that you can literally play this game without any worry about getting, you know, any kind of, oh, you have to beat the game on this difficulty to get this achievement. No. The fact that this is the 4th ever game that I have ever platinumed really just tells you how much fun I had with this game. But I do have a gripe. And that gripe is, I want more. That's not really a gripe, it's more of a joke, but yeah. That said, I'm now officially ready to give my verdict on this game. It is a 10 out of 10. I know I have said that in the past about plenty of games that I've played through, you know, Let's Played and stuff like that. But with this, it truly is a 10 out of 10 experience. You've got an exciting campaign that spans 22 levels, which is a lot more than the previous 2 Doom games that we got, because those were both 13 levels per game. You have... Hey, Ryan. Anyway, you have, if my brain would let me focus, you have 22 levels of expansive exploration, non-stop action, crazy level design, especially with the Cosmic Realm and how you have to do certain puzzles. You have a jaw-dropping soundtrack. You have, like, beautiful visuals through the id Tech 8 engine. You have badass weapons, you have a really cool shield with a multitude of uses. You have quite possibly the most badass iteration of the Slayer yet, and this is a prequel game, so it takes place before 2016. I cannot sing enough praises. This is a straight up 10 out of 10 experience. And this right here, the Repertorium 1.0, this is further evidence of that. They're giving us more of what we want. It's awesome. But yeah. And I do hope that you'll stick around, because whenever the DLC comes out, I'll be sure to cover that. I believe it's just 1 DLC that's coming out, not 2, like with Eternal, where it was the Ancient Gods Part 1 and Part 2. But, yeah. So with that, I will, end the stream here. Sorry, Ryan, for you coming in late. It's just, this stream has been pretty long, you know, longer than it should have been, but, you know, there were things. But yeah, that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this entire Let's Play, and I will see you all next time. See you later.